Yo, 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 what's good? Welcome back to the channel where we stack chips on the daily. I'm excited to be back in here. Took a little break, just had to get my life together, man. Had a ton of stuff going on, catching up on like different things outside of like the market. But I'm back, and as I told you guys, like earlier this year, as soon as we learned that Trump won, the market is going to be crazy. And right now, things are like as crazy as it's ever been and probably will ever be, honestly. So, want to jump right into things with you guys and go through the market, kind of what I see, what I got going on this week. So, let's get right into it. So, as you guys know, I love to start with data. The market is very data driven. Every day, there's new data coming out, there's new news dropping. So, you got to stay up to date, right? So, going into tomorrow, we have wholesale inventories. We have one of the Fed speakers talking, Tom Barkin, and then we get the March minutes from the meeting, right? Those minutes drop later in the day at 2 p.m. So that morning session, we'll have two data points. That afternoon session, we'll have one data point. But looking further into the week, Thursday, huge day. CPI numbers, consumer price index, definitely probably going to be a market mover. If it's, we may not see a lot of volatility. If it's not flat, things may get even crazier. But we'll talk more about that in the charts. And then Friday, we have PPI, which is the producer price index for March. So expectations right now are for things to be a little higher than the previous month, which came in at 0. Same for the CPI, right? Things are actually expected to come down for CPI on Thursday. So, like, got an action-packed week with some very important data points. I would get into some of the other stuff, but we have some more Fed speakers on Thursday, Friday. The Fed is out and about this week. All they're going to be talking about is these tariffs and how it's going to affect the market. So as you can see, the market has been responding with huge volatility, tons of volatility. So knowing all that volatility is going on in the market, I'm going to jump over to the heat map where we see kind of where stocks finished the day. Man, I was on one of the social medias, X, earlier, and everybody was sharing screenshots about how, what was it, Monday, we were deep red. We opened up, everything was red. There was no green on this map. This morning, we opened up, everything was green, right? And then by the end of the day, look, Apple down 4% to 172. Yikes. Amazon down, Tesla down to 221, Walmart. There's some green here though. Broadcom having a good day. Some of the banks, insurance, Berkshire on the sidelines right now. Anyway, United Healthcare is up. There's some green here, right? What I like to do, I like to take a snapshot of what was green. Like take a picture of this day. Like, all right, when everything was red, what was green on this day? Right? Just to have that like as a data point in the memory bank. Because if we get a similar day to today, tomorrow, like I want to know what was green and kind of why was it green based on what was happening in the world. So that's a real good point of advice that I would do if you're new to trading, if you're old to trading, you know what you're doing. Sometimes I'll be like, when this was red, what was green, right? Or when this was green, what was red? Like what sectors was red? And this is a good way for everything to be laid out in front of you based off of the sectors. So you can find it easily and see what stocks kind of pair together, honestly. Jump into why most people watch these videos, the charts. Man, this is the monthly chart for the S&P 500. As you can see, March Well, February, we hit all-time highs, right? First month in a Trump presidency. Second month, deep red, high of 597, a low of 546. Basically almost a 50-point move, right? To the downside. Then we jump into April. It is only April 8th. All right. We've had maybe, how many trading days this month? Maybe 5 trading days this month so far, right? Don't quote me on that. But it's been less than 8 trading days this month, right? And the range has been from 567 to 481 for the month of April. That is ridiculous. That's almost 100 points in 5 days, right? Never happened before, never been seen before. So, how do we attack a market like this? Last week, if you had some 481 puts, you'd be a millionaire right now, right? So, we want to look at this chart and be able to capitalize on that next move. Like, where is this going next? How can I make money? Because I promise you, people are getting rich right now because you typically don't see moves like this, right? I'd say the biggest move in the last year from this date, from now, was August, right? August, the high was 564, the low was 510. That was like a 50-point move, right? Currently, we're in twice that, which is crazy. It's almost gone 100 points in 5 or 6 days. I play options. Options are a good way to capitalize on big moves like that because they move exponentially. So you could say have $100 and your contract goes up 1,000%, right? That $100 is now $10,000, right? Imagine if you would have bought 10 of those contracts. You do the math, okay? So knowing that, I'm always looking for the next move and kind of going to zoom in here a little bit on the weekly. This week we had a high of 524 and then a low of 481. On the weekly, we are approaching the 200-day moving average at 472, okay, which is a key level. Then on the daily, right, this is the daily chart. Let me make it look a little prettier. So this is the daily chart. Yesterday, big move when we hit that 481. It shot up on some fake news of Trump president pausing tariffs. And the market moved on something positive and it was fake. And you see the move. It was basically a 40-point move. Crazy. But then we came back down, right? We closed yesterday at 504. And then today the market opened up at 521, right? So overnight, big move. And then we had a high of 524. That 520 level is key. And we dropped under that. And then we just faded. We hit that 505 level and we kept fading. I do see that next level being at that previous low, that 481, right? And we get to 481. I'm almost certain we're going to see 441. This tariff news ain't moving. China's not budging. They said, all right, you want to slap some tariffs on us? We're going to slap some tariffs on y'all, right? And then Trump's like, all right, bet. We're going to raise your hand. I'll raise. They playing poker with all the world's money right now. So how can you capitalize on that? You got to play the volatility. You got to know which side to be on, and you don't want to get caught off sides. You will lose money really quickly in this type of market. I was talking to one of my friends earlier, and the contracts are super expensive right now. Why? Because there are these huge moves happening, and they don't want the small investor to be able to bank on these moves. Contracts used to be $1, maybe 80 cents. Now those contracts are like $5, $10, $2, right? They're pretty much double, just like these tariffs. But where I see this chart going, as I kind of mentioned, 4 hour, I really thought that 493 level was really key for close. and we closed over that. I had some puts. I sold them before close. I was in the money. I was green on those puts before I sold, but I didn't like the action at the end of the day. They dropped it down to like 489, and then they ran it right back up to 496. Based off of after hours, like it's looking like it was a bull trap because now we're sitting at 490 after a 496 close. But I really don't pay attention to after hours because it can move in both directions pretty quickly. But I am looking tomorrow at this 481 level. If we break that, I think 441's in play this week. I won't say tomorrow, but I will say this week. With all the data points that we have coming through, we could see that 40-point move happen really quickly. So, am I watching anything else in this market right now? I am not. This is my main focus right now. S&P, I'm making money on this. There's a ton of money being made on this. I've made a ton of money over the past week on this. So I want everybody to bank on this. If you're in the Discord, get the alerts, follow the alerts. If you're up, take profit. Don't be greedy. Let's bank this market. I will be doing a video with my partner tomorrow on tariffs, like kind of our opinion on tariffs, what we think about them, where we see it going. Everybody's been dropping a tariff video recently. I mean, I like a lot of them. I think they're thinking in the right direction, but I feel like everybody's not thinking big picture, right? And I like to think big picture. The details are cool about the stock prices and stuff like that, but people who think big picture are the ones that typically capitalize. So we're going to give you our opinions on that on the next video tomorrow. So stay tapped in with us. If you're not in the Discord, go ahead, join the Discord, make some money with us, stack up with us, and I'll catch you on the next video.